This is the second page of the 4.1D lesson. This is a very important page. Watch really closely. Pause the video because it's going to kind of set the foundation for the last page, where if you take careful notes in this page, the last page is not going to be that tricky. So what we saw on the first page is that if we want to find the slope, and we don't necessarily want to use the graph, the rise, we're going to find the difference in y values, meaning we're going to subtract. And to find the run, we need to find the difference in the x values. And to do that, we have a formula, and it's actually written right here, but we're going to write it in this blank, which is m equals, we're going to write a big fraction line. On the top, we're going to have y2 minus y1. So we'll talk about these little ones and twos, but for now you can just copy it down. They are little pushed down. They're not exponents. y2 minus y1, little numbers. And we're going to subtract, and those go on top, and it needs to be y2 minus y1, not the other way around. On the bottom is going to be x2 minus x1. So right now you're just copying them down. It probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So let's start to understand, what is this? Well, first of all, x1, y1 is 0.1, like cat in the hat, like thing 1 and thing 2. x2, y2 is 0.2. All right, so that we don't get confused, we need to label the points or have names for them, thing 1 and thing 2. Point 1 has all 1s, and point 2 has all 2s. All right. And then on number 3, somebody has already done this problem, so all we're going to do is just look at it and write out the steps. All right, so step 1 is label the points. So by label the points, I mean I'm going to go up on each problem, and I'm going to label it x1, y1, x2, y2. Label the points. Step 2 in the same box is write the formula. And then I know that kind of begs the question of, like, do I need to write the formula every time? Eventually, no. But for today, I would show these steps. We're going to label the points, and we're going to write out the formula. All right, step 3, we're going to plug in the points. Somebody already did that for us. And I'm going to make a star here a little. I'm going to put vertical alignment. That probably doesn't make any sense, but I'll point out what I mean. Vertical alignment. This is critical, that this point, 5, 3, needs to be vertically aligned. You see how the green is up and down? And then this point, negative 4, 1, needs to be vertically aligned as well. That if I highlight these and I notice that the green and the yellow are crossing, then the whole problem is just going to tank. It's going to mess up. So I want to make sure I have vertical alignment of the points. Step 4 is sign change. So we'll put equals 3 plus negative 1 over 5 plus 4. That's the sign change for that problem. And then step 5 is just to simplify, use a calculator, and double check that your fraction is fully simplified. Okay. We're going to ignore this graph unless you really want to do it. I would pause the video at this point and just make sure, did you fill in all 5 steps? And then we're going to ignore these questions just for the sake of time. We're going to look at these two problems where we're going to implement this strategy. Okay, so the steps are, step one is I'm going to label my points. I would do more steps at the beginning and then later eliminate some steps, but I would do all those. The next thing is I'm going to write out my formula just like it's written in the example above without any adjustments. And between the fractions, I'm going to put equals. Then I'm going to set up the formula with some legit minus signs in 4 spots to plug in my numbers. So basically all I need to do is put the 4 numbers in the right spot, and then I'm on my way to successfully finishing this. This point, 0 is y2, and 0 goes over 5. This point, y is going top, 3 goes over -4. Vertical alignment of my colors. Y is on top. And I'm going to put equals. And now I'm going to do my sign change, which is 0, leave, change, 0 plus -3 over 5 plus 4. And my last step is I'm just going to add these up and simplify. The top becomes -3 and the bottom is 9. And I'm going to simplify one more step. This negative can just show up in the front, which is that this fraction is divisible by 3. So we have -1/3 as the slope. All right, so I would pause the video, make sure you got all those steps down. All right, last problem on this page. So we're going to label our points. Then we're going to write out our formula. All these steps, they seem tedious. They probably are, but the time commitment per problem is about 2 minutes if you do every step, and that's without rushing. All right, so this point is going to go here, and this point is going to go here. By the way, I'm just doing every problem the same. I'm going to label the first point, point 1. And for now, I would just do that. Point 2 is point 2. I wouldn't mess with that. The 1s go together and the 2s go together. And then as I put my numbers in, you might notice that I'm actually hopping through the problem backwards, meaning 5 goes over 6, and then I'm going to go to the 15 and put it over 5. Then I'm just literally going backwards through the points, through the numbers. All right, last step is my sign change, which is 5 plus -15 over 6 plus -5. Leave, change. The top, -15 is more dominant, so it's -10. And the bottom, the 6 is more dominant, and it is 1. So this is my final answer, otherwise known as -10 as well. Either of those would work.